professional of professionals.
Do you know how I make this look non-professional?
How do you
being a professional?
There we go.
And you know how a professional knows that it's non-professional? Because he's a professional.
To that.
Yep.
Truer words never been spoken.
That right there.
Everyone, we have Adam Marcus today, round 2.
Hello.
You've been on this show before, haven't you?
No,
TJ just likes to say round 2. That's a thing.
Just round 2.
Round 2.
Brother.
Yes, the last time I kind of like laid down, kind of like kneeled, and then you pushed him over me. You remember that? And then he was help me!
I do. It was one of those team wrestling moves, you know?
Yes.
I think it's like that's in like 101 wrestling.
By the way, that's why I haven't been on for over a year. I'm just going to do that. Just saying, and it's why I would only do it if we were socially distanced.
Is that socially or sexually distanced?
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel with you two, I feel like I should wear a mask now in my own home alone.
Lord knows I do.
Wait a minute, that's not a mask?
No, it's not.
Oh, that's your beard. No,
that's actually my beard. It's the same thing.
By the way, dude, it looks really good, man. I have wild respect for the COVID beard. That is awesome.
You know,
lots of washing.
I think it was just starting to come on when you were on last. When you were on last, it was I just haven't shaved, right?
Got it.
Now it has stepped beyond that into official beard territory.
Dude, you are in like Richard Stanley living in the Himalayas, not wanting to be bothered by Val Kilmer beard.
Exactly.
Here's the question. Here's the question. Can we do an interview with Adam where he doesn't mention Val Kilmer?
No, not possible.
By the way, no, here's the interview I want to do. I want to get a round table together of just directors who've worked with Val Kilmer. I guarantee you that would be the funniest interview ever done. Ever. You'd have like grown men just sobbing with each other.
I like that sobbing, and it's a podcast with a 3-drink minimum.
Yeah.
You have to come prepared.
And here's the thing: it's such a Richard Stanley beard that if you think Richard Stanley, you got to go to Moreau. If you go to Moreau, you go to Val Kilmer's 4 degrees of Val Kilmer. So this is the way it goes.
There you go.
That's the way it is.
So, Adam.
Yo.
Hearts of Darkness. Where are we at?
Yeah, baby. Where are we at? Is that what you asked?
Where you at?
Yeah, I'm going to be where I'm at. It's going great. We shot almost 30 interviews for the film already, which has been unbelievable. I couldn't believe how many people wanted to come out and talk about it. That's what was sort of stunning. But just as we had finished up the 29th interview, COVID hit.
Surprise!
And I was in Georgia shooting Bob Kurtzman's interview while Allie was in Chicago shooting Rusty Schwimmer's. And so we still have 9 more interviews, and there are more people asking to come on board since then. So we've still got a bunch of footage that simply has not been shot yet.
You haven't asked me. You haven't asked me.
You just watched the film for the first time this year.
Dude, why do you think I'm on this podcast?
Well, you can't have this footage.
Oh, we'll have our contribution come out of this podcast. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So no, it's the film is going great. Eddie Samuelson, who's directing the film, and Peter Bracke, and myself and Ali Rivera, all 4 of us have been cutting through over 75 hours of interview footage. Starting to strip everything down and kind of put stuff together. But again, without the other interviews, it's just an incomplete film. The other thing is I was supposed to be at Chiller this year where we were doing a little bit of a, Jason Goes to Hell reunion, and TJ, you were going to be there with us.
Yep.
And honestly, I want some of that festival footage. I want some con footage. So once COVID's over, Chiller has asked me to come back the minute that they're up and running. I said, absolutely no problem. And we'll get the band back together there. And that's kind of where I want to shoot some of the end of the movie. So, Eddie is all about getting this thing right. Eddie Samuelson has been working on the box set coming from Screen Factory.
Hell yeah.
Oh, dude, it is unbelievable.
I think I stated publicly there's only one good reason to buy that box set.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, and there's a proper Blu-ray release of Jason Goes to Hell in there,
A proper.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the first time that the unrated cut's going to be on Blu-ray. Also, it's got the original commentary that Dean Laurie and I did on it, but I recorded a new commentary with Peter Bracke and Eddie. That's where we met. That's where Eddie and I met. And that's when I was like, dude, you're awesome. You should be directing our documentary. You should be directing Hearts of Darkness. And he couldn't have jumped on quicker. Like, he was all in. And so here's the thing. He has produced over 20 pieces for that set. 20 full documentaries are on that set of all the films and all this other stuff. I know some stuff that I can't reveal here that is so incredible. Certain things he's found, archival stuff that he's found, that is, it blows the lid off. Not just for Jason Goes to Hell, for all of the films.
Excellent.
It is. I'm telling you, it's one of those rare moments where, because the thing is so expensive, it's like injurious, but it's so well done that I'm like, look, sell your old one. Like, put that on eBay, get this thing. It is that good. It really is that good. Now, it's like, you don't need any other Friday the 13th stuff. You can get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of the junk. Get rid of the junk.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You don't need that. You don't need that.
No.
Now, I wanted to ask, did you get a hold of Tom Blismo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Tommy sat in my library. That's where we recorded him.
Oh, good. Oh, it's so great.
Here's what's so great about Tom, and it's so Tom. So he's sitting in my library, and he's like, God, I remember so little of this. And as he started to talk, he's like, oh, wait a minute, no, and then that cool thing. By the end of it, we had a 2.5-hour interview with the guy.
Right? Exactly.
He remembered everything. I mean, everything. He sent a bunch of archival stuff. He sent like these great behind the scenes photos he took, and just amazing. Tom's amazing. He's amazing.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Great dude.
He's a good guy. I got to launch him on his career.
That's right. Tom Blismo is the guy that called you from a bathroom stall and was like, help me, isn't it?
Well, but everybody calls Mick for that.
Yeah, well,
that's how we met. So,
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, tell me something I don't know.
Oh, Michael Silver in the background there. Look at that.
Oh
yeah, damn Jimmy. You mean Tony the Wonder Llama? Actually, Michael Silver and I, because of this whole thing, he and I are collaborating on a project together right now.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Angry Pickle and all.
Yes. As much Angry Pickle as we can get. Yeah. Michael is he's an extraordinary guy. He really is. He wrote a piece that I fell in love with that Skeleton Crew is going to be helping with. And I mean, he's quite something. Amazing actor and a great guy. Just a great guy. That's the best thing about doing this doc is, like, there's a ton of people that I haven't seen in forever. And truly it was like, and some people that I only spent like 3 days on set with, and instantly it was like, oh man, I love these people. Like, these were amazing. And now I have all these like incredible relationships that have come back to life simply by doing the documentary.
Isn't that I feel that way. When I wrote Behind the Screams, all these people from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, it was such an amazing way to reconnect with all of them, and all of a sudden, they're all glued back into your life. You start to look like one of those COVID things, with all the little points around it like this. I'm essentially becoming a virus. Yeah.
By the way, forgive my dog in the background. He's
what's up with that?
There's a person delivering a package or something. It's COVID.
Yeah, COVID. It's all COVID. It's
anything goes wrong, it's COVID.
So yeah, it is odd how all of a sudden you just reconnect with all these people, and tell me if this doesn't happen, and I'll bet it has, and it kind of blows your mind when you go back and you look at a single point in time. Now that you've looked at that point really, really hard, okay, all of a sudden your mind, all of a sudden you realize that 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon was about you, right? Isn't that weird? I mean, all of a sudden, you're connecting, and
Mick, you cut out pretty bad there.
Until I that. Oh, did I?
Yeah. Did you plug into the internet? You did. Yeah, you're just a big blur right now. Like your audio is like 8-bit quality, maybe teetering on SNES, maybe.
I feel like we're gonna
continue. Yes. Speaking of Jason Goes to Hell, our fan group hit 2,000 members today.
I know, it was so exciting.
Okay, you guys continue.
Yeah, you fixed that, Mick.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. Thank you for sending me the picture, man. That was amazing.
I mean, we've been teetering on 2,000 now for like 2 weeks, and we had some rogue admins who were just not having it. And then once we got rid of that problem, we were like, woo!
The only way I found out that we had the problem was that one of Skeleton Crew, one of my production team, called me and was like, dude, I just got rejected from the Jason Goes to Hell fan page. I'm like, okay, there's clearly a problem.
It ain't me. Yeah. Well, a quick activity check solved that problem, and now we're at 2,000, which is great. Awesome. We love and appreciate each and every one of you Hellions, and for all of you tuning in live, we appreciate you.
Damn Skippy.
So
no, it's the page has been amazing, and by the way, thank you again for creating it, TJ. It's one of the happiest places I go to every morning to just check in with people that are amazing and that totally get the movie and celebrate it, and also just talk about things Friday and things that that they're excited about. So it's really cool, man. You did an incredible thing, brother.
I agree. So you want to talk about a dagger?
Let's talk about a dagger.
Let's talk about a dagger. So a couple months ago, we had a little chit chat, and you told me an amazing story about the original stunt dagger. Do you want to tell it live here?
Absolutely. I'd love to. So everybody remembers the magic dagger, which whenever it would come up on screen when we were cutting Jason Goes to Hell, everybody in the room would go, magic dagger, as it would turn into the magic dagger. And of course, it's got its Evil Dead connection and all that. Well, here's the thing that happened with the dagger. The prop people and the guys at K&B actually worked on that dagger together. It was sculpted by this guy named Jason Bakutis, who was Noel Cunningham's cousin, off of specs that I had given him about what I wanted the dagger to kind of look like. And so he created this amazing thing. And so I have this great piece of art. And they had made a few of these, but the most beautiful, sort of close-up version of the dagger, the guys at K&B and the prop guys gave to me as a gift at the end of the shoot. And I was overjoyed. Like, it's such a beautiful piece of art. And I was in my early 20s. Like, who doesn't want to have a giant knife? Like, you feel badass and cool.
Absolutely.
Anyway, the knife itself was not that sharp or anything. It was just this like great piece of artwork. So I bring it back to my apartment where I'm living with Noel Cunningham and Dean Lurie, my co-writer and the assistant editor on the film. And I display the thing, right? I put it up on my wall in my bedroom. And I've got my mask and I've got that. Well, a couple months go by and we're cutting the movie. And I come home one night to find that there is someone in my apartment. Not one of my roommates. Someone has broken in. This is when I was living in Venice, and this is in the 90s when Venice was considered the mini hood. So it was this terrifying place to be. It's like, this is not like you would truly, and no exaggeration, you would leave your house in the morning, walk by a school, and there was a dead body laying on the grounds of the school, just dead. You're like, oh, Venice. Anyway, so horrible situation. And here's this guy in my home. And here's the thing. We had these poker nights at, they were actually casino nights at our apartment. Now, you've got 3 bachelors living in this apartment. It was it was a huge space. We had an entire floor of a building, and we would put in these casino tables into our apartment and run gambling out of the apartment. But we would do it under the guise of movie nights. So we had the Godfather night, we had the James Bond night. So everybody would show up in tuxedos. Women would be dressed in gowns. I mean, it was like ridiculous. We're in our early 20s. It was just like this nutty thing. We had all these girls at UCLA that we would hang out with, right?
Ooh.
So I know it was good times. So we would get quarters as chips.
Mm-hmm.
So we had just hundreds and hundreds of dollars in quarters, and that's what everybody would bet with, and you'd buy in with the quarters. Okay. Dude, this guy had grabbed, I don't know, 25, 30 of these rolls of quarters and stuffed them in all of his pockets. He found the quarters, stuffed them in his pockets, was holding my Laserdisc player, which my roommates and my brother had just bought me for my birthday on Jason Goes to Hell for my 24th birthday, because I turned 24 while we were making the movie. He's holding my Laserdisc player, which was I was out of my mind, and the dagger. That's it. That's all he's got.
Yeah,
Laserdisc player, dagger, and a couple $100 worth of quarter, or a few $100 worth of quarters in his pockets. Okay, I see this. I instinctively, and again, I'm a guy. I had never shot a gun in my life. But Noel Cunningham was a gun fanatic, and I mean a fanatic. We had guns and gunpowder, and it was like a John Woo movie in his bedroom. True story, side story, true story, an amazing story. The day we move into Venice, the day we move into this apartment, Dean, Laurie, and I are on Dean's balcony, which overlooked the main street, Market Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Venice. We're standing there, we're talking, we're chit-chatting, we're like, oh, this is so beautiful, what a great day. And look at our apartment, we have a whole floor of building. Isn't this amazing? Noel Cunningham walks out between the two of us and just lobs something over our heads and walks back in the apartment. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Suddenly, there is an explosion in the middle of the street. He had crafted a little gunpowder bomb in the middle of the day and threw it in the street in Venice, California.
Oh,
that is
my.
a true story.
Okay? Oh my!
So now I run into Noel's Guns R Us store 4 feet away. I grab 2 of his firearms. I don't know if the safeties are on. I don't know what's going on.
Straight Deadpool moment.
And truly, and by the way, I'm a huge John Woo fan, and I was like, I knew John at that time, and I went to screenings with John, and I saw Hard Boiled for the first time in America with John at a screening room at Orion. That is a true story. Much longer story. Anyway, I run out of the bedroom holding both guns, and I'm like, stop, motherfucker! This guy drops my Laserdisc player.
No.
Now, here's the thing. It lands like on this leather sofa that Noel had bought, and literally like a giant pillow, just and it was fine. This dude runs for the back balcony of our apartment, runs out and jumps off the balcony, and it's about a 17-foot drop to the ground.
Oh.
Okay? Dude, this guy lands. Here's the thing. He didn't count for the weight differential that was on his butt with all of the quarters. This dude lands smack in the middle of the pavement of like the alley, right between the buildings.
Yeah.
Lands, dude, quarters shot out of this guy's ass for 100 yards in every direction. There were quarters everywhere. And this dude gets up and he's limp running away down the alley, and the only thing in his hand is my dagger.
Oh no.
And I was like, wow, that guy is going to sell that for some crack or some, that is just, what a fucking shame, man. So that dagger was lost to time, simply because this guy really, I should have let him take the damn Laserdisc player and give me the dagger. But I still have the Laserdisc player. Shockingly, it still works. Which is kind of amazing. So yeah, that's where the dagger from Jason Goes to Hell got lost.
Is my mic still muted?
Nope, it's back on.
Oh,
now.
perfect.
I'm on. Oh, hey.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. That is glorious.
My absolute pleasure, brother.
Shooting out of your ass.
Yes.
That's
Quarter
I
shooting
can't
out of his
wait
hat.
that's
to give that to the
you know,
animators. I promise
I
you,
love it.
I will have Adam in a very small scene dressed up like Deadpool with maximum effort. And
Totally. Totally. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good.
Give me back my laser, just play it.
If we could somehow get Ryan Reynolds just to ADR that portion
Right?
of my,
Little
my-
tiny
my
beast.
story,
Little tiny beast.
that would be amazing.
He is the king of cameos.
He really is.
There you
He
go.
really is.
There you go.
And who knows, he might be a fan. This is a true story. When I was doing the commentary for Jason Goes to Hell, we did it at this place called Margarita Mix, which was a place that was in Los Angeles in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they built it because everybody was doing these commentary tracks. And the concept of Margarita Mix was you would come in to do your commentary track and they would serve you margaritas until you got pissed drunk while doing your commentary, which made the commentaries much more fun. So
Right.
I go to do
Naturally.
my commentary. I don't drink, but my writing partner, Dean, does. So Dean is getting schnockered while I'm, drinking a Diet Coke and totally sober. And it makes the commentary so much more fun because I start making fun of him during the commentary track, which
Oh,
becomes
of
a
course.
fun ball. So we're in the middle of the commentary and they paused us right in the center. They paused us, I think, to refill Dean's margarita. And as that was happening, one of the editors comes in and he says, "Hey, I have a note from next door." And I said, "Oh, cool. Who's next door?" They said, "Well, they're doing another movie over there. They just finished. She just left." I'm like, "She who?" She goes, "Yeah, Penny Marshall was doing the commentary on A League of Their Own."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Well, that's awesome." And he says, "Yeah, I have a note for you." I was like, "From Penny Marshall?" He's like, "Yeah."
Ooh.
So I open up this note and it says, "Dear Adam, I love your movie. Love, Penny Marshall." And I was like, Penny Marshall, like Jason Goes to Hell? That is so, like, I already adored her. I'm like, now, oh my God, I still have the note.
Totally in love. Totally in love.
Oh my God, like, she's a badass. Such a badass.
So we had an anniversary of your film not too long ago.
We did just 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of
13th.
love pouring on your page, huh?
So nice, man. And look, by the way, listen, with all the love that goes on, there's always these, wonderful fans who wish me nothing but ill will, who repeatedly want me to get ass cancer for blowing up the mask.
Whoa! That's kind of specific, isn't it?
Dude, I have had three people wish me ass cancer. I'm like, is this a thing?
I love that they're very specific about it.
Very.
Yeah,
No,
they should come up. They should bring in the medical terminology for it.
They really should.
Yeah, I mean, it's up your game, people. Up your game.
So the thing is, whenever we hit an anniversary, I get this incredible outpouring of love, and then I get these guys who are just like, okay, get a life, folks. Really, I mean, come on. But I have to say, it does keep it spicy. Like that is kind of fun for me. Like I prefer the love side of it, that's for sure. But the hate side is fun. I gotta say, and it's they're never very good spellers.
Right.
It's kind of amazing.
It's sort of like people who love Trump, right? They lose the ability to spell as soon as they immediately go for Trump. I don't know what it is.
Kind of amazing, isn't it?
It pairs well with the 4th grade education, Mick.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right.
But there is something about being around fans that go over the line that you want. I tell you this story. I was doing a thing with the Bad Boys, the guys that were doing that were rappers. Fat Boys.
Fat Boys, the Freddie.
They were doing the Freddie rap, right?
Yes.
Right.
And at one point, there just wasn't many of us like around at that time. We were on the stage for Freddie's Nightmares, the TV series, and we hadn't even really started that show, but we were just kind of, we had all this stuff, and we decided to go ahead and build the sets, and it was kind of like in-house thing, and so the bad boys come down, and everybody has to babysit them, because we didn't have, we didn't even really have PAs there. It's just a member of the crew would have to go out and spend a half an hour watching them. And we were all sitting on these scooters that we had been given by the promo guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the parking lot is like half of the crew just spinning around with the fat boys on these little tiny scooters. And it was hilarious. I mean, it was just really, really funny. And the fat boys were, for one thing, they didn't sit on a scooter as much as the scooter became them, if you see what I'm saying. And so we're all over it. And at one point we stopped in the middle of the parking lot, and we're having a discussion. And the discussion was about Freddie. It was about Freddie and Jason and Leatherface.
Leatherface.
It was Leatherface. Okay.
Damn Skippy it was.
And we're sitting there, and they're talking about who's the batter. Who was the batter, right? And the guy that had the all golden teeth hadn't been saying much, and we're just sitting there, and it's back and forth, and Freddie can do this, well, Jason will get you like this, and well, Leatherface with it. It kept going back and forth and back and forth, and all of a sudden he just sits and he goes, it's gotta be Freddie. Everybody looks at him because it's the first time he talked in a while. So everybody looks at him and goes, why? Because Freddie get you in your dreams. See, you guys, you just talking shit, because eventually Freddie gonna get you in your dreams. And he gets on his scooter and he pops off into the sunset, and we were like sitting there going, well, there you go.
The story about Sean Cunningham turning down Wes on Nightmare on Elm Street, because Wes brought it to Sean first.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. No, I was there for a table read that Sean had us do of Nightmare on Elm Street when I was, I don't know, 13.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah,
I was like 13, and I was doing a table read for Sean, and he told Wes that it was fucking stupid, quote unquote.
Really?
He's like, this is fucking stupid. He's like, ooh, I'm afraid of going to bed. Ooh. Literally, he did that. I was like, wow, you are quite the soothsayer, Sean.
Yeah,
what a forward thinker you are, my friend.
Good job. Yeah.
Adam. What does that sign there say, young man? Oh, that says Jason is dead. 2-for-1 burger sale. What's that? Yeah. What film's that from? That's from Jason Goes to Hell. Did I make that film? Fuck you.
This guy who still tries to tell people that he directed the reshoots and other stuff on my movie. I'm like, dude, are you insane?
Oh, it's weird. I had a guy say that he was in the business, and he was a production designer, and he took credit for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Right? And the weird thing is that was like one of the only things that was on his resume.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept showing up to interviews right after him, and it was interesting how easy it was back in the day when you didn't have, because you couldn't get away with that for 10 minutes these days. Right. I mean,
but back then you could, absolutely.
But back then you really could. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, and I didn't I didn't even say anything about because the guy only had that one thing, right? I was like, in weird ways, like you kind of felt sorry for him, because if he was actually trying to make
but nobody feels sorry for Sean Cunningham. Nobody.
No. That's actually physically impossible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's another genius. Yeah,
genius. Yeah,
Sean,
genius.
Sean has gone around saying, he even said in Crystal Lake Memories that he had to reshoot 60% of my movie.
Yeah.
And truly, Bob Kurtzman, when Bob Kurtzman heard that, Bob was like, what drugs is Sean on? Because I got to get some of those.
Yeah,
he was never on set. He just wasn't
bartender.
What are they
bartender? One of those.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, well, amazing.
I can see that kind of thing. Though, like I was back in the day.
Here's a question for Friday and Nightmare fans, and since Mick is about balls deep in Nightmare, and you're about as balls deep in Friday as they get.
Absolutely.
So Jason Goes to Hell, the glove that you used at the end, you said you acquired from Bob Shea, and that was a prototype used in a previous film, or supposed to be used for a film. Now, Mick, I wonder if it's any of the works that you did that glove was from.
Here's the thing. You're assuming that there's any lack of gloves laying around New Line Cinema. So you have to understand is not only were there dozens of gloves all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You had crew members making gloves. Everybody fucking made gloves. Yeah. I felt bad because I was one of the people that really truly hated making gloves. I mean, I personally never made a glove. I designed a couple of them, especially the dental glove for Freddie, with like spinning tools and all that.
Yeah.
That was really fun because it was really kind of hard to do. That's a whole bunch of vibrator motors.
Nice.
You know the vibrators on your actually they later on became, but they used to be on your devices, which was vibrator motors.
Game controllers. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Well,
there we go.
They were about that big, and you had like you could like get them in there, but even then, the number of official gloves that were made by everybody that was on the crew, and this is why when I look at somebody's official screen used glove, there were so many on the stage that I remember on Nightmare 3. I mean, there were just people that was waving each other with them in the crew everywhere.
So it's hard to source gloves. So like it's hard to track gloves because there were so many made.
I think it's impossible. I really do.
Right.
But it's the same problem with the machete, right?
The machete or a hockey mask.
Sure. Or a hockey mask. The
hockey mask.
I mean, there are so many different streams of how those were created because there were guys who would design off of a previous design or a design from 3 movies back, or so I mean, when you start getting into like the guys who make the really quality, hawks out there, like they have a full lineage of how that hawk came into being. I find that amazing. Like I'm like, that's
absolutely,
wow.
And that blows me away. Yeah, I'm totally into that. I like that it's an aftermarket thing, but people who say that they have the screen used ones, I always wonder about that because I know how film people are, and I particularly know how prop makers and special effects and art directors are. It just always makes me wonder.
And that's the thing with the Jason Goes to Hell community is there's a select few of us that could probably tell you about where everything exists right now, is where it stands from.
Right. And people say that about the only one that I absolutely know the veracity of is somebody had one of the gloves with the dental tools on it.
Right.
And he called me to say, is this the original one? And I say, well, I know the original one because the controller box had the Beefy Boy sticker on the back of it that was torn in a particular way, right? And he sent me a picture of it, and I said, yeah, that's that one. I particularly knew is the only one that I absolutely could say that's original. And it's not like somebody couldn't fake that.
Right. The one that we used, I'm pretty sure was from Freddy's Dead.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And it was Bob Shaye's personal one that was in his office.
Right.
Okay,
So
now we need to
he
ask
sent
Rachel
that one
Talalay
back.
some questions.
It's true. It's true. Hey, or Mike DeLuca. Who was the one who actually put that together for me to get me the glove.
Mhm.
But it came in a box. There was a guy who stood with it and wouldn't leave set.
Oh yeah. Okay. I can imagine that.
Yeah, they were deadly serious about that glove. And when we only shot the shot twice, it only had to be done twice.
It broke on the second shot, though, right?
On the second one, one of the blades came off as he pulled the glove down into the earth. But it worked on camera. It just, once it came down, the blades were falling off the glove with the mask. But
right, there you go.
It worked for the shot.
There you go.
It did. Yeah. It's easily one of the most iconic shots of the film. Easily.
Oh yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
And even the haters will agree with that.
Oh,
well,
no,
even the people who say it was the hidden, it was actually the hidden. We'll give you that one.
I will tell you. You know what's great? So Eddie Samuelson went out and interviewed Jack Shoulder. And he was doing a documentary for The Hidden,
right?
But he got him to do a piece for Hearts of Darkness. And Jack Shoulder had never watched Jason Goes to Hell. He hadn't seen it.
Right. Oh, he hadn't seen it.
No. So he watched it, and Eddie was like, "So what'd you think?" He goes, "Well, let's call it an homage."
That's totally Jack. Jack always has this way of putting you down just before he's going to say something nice. Right.
I thought it was a very gentlemanly way to say it. And again, here's the thing. This is what's so embarrassing for me. I had never seen the fucking movie when I made the film. Then we're in post and someone's like, this is a little bit like The Hidden. And I said, "Oh, I heard that movie's good." They're like, "Yeah, you should see it." And New Line got me a copy, and I was like, fuck.
Frame by frame much? Yeah,
no, definitely not frame by frame.
No.
Our kiss, our kiss thing was
that I am just totally giving you shit for that.
No, it's all good.
It's so the thing that I don't understand though is I don't understand how it came from the same people. It came from nobody ever thought to even bring that up.
Not one word.
Not one word.
Word.
See, that's just insane. That's because it's really so weird because here's the really weird part of this is that we in the horror community that built those films, that built horror films in the 80s and the 90s, usually pass little shit like that off to each other before the films got made. You always kind of put out these little feelers and stuff to see if you're not duplicating something that's out there because let's face it, the producers are, we're making this and we're going to be ultra secret, and the crews are always, yeah, but you know what? We have a revolving room just like you guys do. just like we're making one on the other side of town, and maybe one of us ought to rethink this kind of shit,
Yep. No, it's true. I'm to this day, I still cannot believe that no one.
Yeah, nobody.
That
is just such a weird thing. It's usually our jobs were to kind of catch that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And we blew it. We blew it.
This is the same film that spelled Voorhees wrong.
Yeah, dude. By the way, and I've not told anybody this story yet, and I will not. It's saved for the documentary. The misspelling of the name Voorhees, I will be exonerated for all time. And in fact, anybody who ever gives me shit about it, anyone who gives me shit about it is going to be very, very nervous that they're going to get killed in their sleep. Because when you find out who made the mistake and why that happened, you guys will not. You simply won't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I wasn't at that particular interview. They called me from the set they said, "You're not going to believe what this person just said live on camera."
Hell yeah.
And I looked at the footage. I was like,
you can pull one of those knives out of your back finally.
dude, I am literally cleared of all charges.
Well, you know, we switched the white streak on Nancy, so I guess you know.
Dude, I get blamed for which eye is missing. I'm like,
oh yeah, dude. Oh, you know, it goes on and on and on.
I'm like, oh yeah, right, because I'm the guy who sculpted the mask. What people think a director does is so extraordinary to me. It's like, I'm always like, yeah, I know in my spare time while directing the film, my first feature, I went over to the mailbox and hand painted the name Voorhees incorrectly. That was my job. That's part that I got a $10 bonus for that.
$10. You got $10?
I did. I did. That's the kind of money Sean Cunningham pays.
Hey! And I was signed up for all the fuck ups that I did were on a flat rate.
Bonuses, baby. That's where the real money is.
That's right.
Bonus.
That's right. $10 in the mail. It's in the mail.
That shot, actually, that exact shot of the Voorhees mailbox was shot on my birthday that year. That was when I turned 24. That was the same night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and what a present it's been ever since then.
Well, let me tell you something. We did a shot on Vengeance that had a mailbox out front, while in back we're supposed to see we're supposed to be a shadow play of a kill, right?
Right.
And everybody was arguing about which way we were supposed to spell Voorhees. And this is your argument, because I could not have cared less. And they kept coming back to me going, well, yeah, it's like, I'm like, you know, I'll do the true Hollywood thing, and we'll shoot it both ways and send it to the editor like that. And he can.
I'm telling you, dude, when you see who's responsible, it is the most amazing. It's. I could just watch a clip of it over and over again for the next 10 years, just in a constant rotation.
So we will end the show on a good note. Adam, anything else you want to say about HOD?
Dude, it's going to be amazing. I have to tell you, like the people that we've interviewed have been so effusive and so lovely and telling like amazing, very funny stories, stuff that I didn't even remember. And look, the greatness of it is kind of the thing that's always made it very easy for me to defend the movie to people who don't like the film. Is it was made with a tremendous amount of love by a bunch of people who love the franchise, who wanted to do something different and were excited about the direction we were going. Even someone like Kane, who had real reservations about what we were doing. When you hear him talk about it and you hear his excitement and the stunts he got to create and all the stuff that he made out of this thing, it's just a lot of people who had a lot of love in their hearts while making this movie. And I think it still shows in the film itself. Like, everybody had a great time and were doing something they believed in. And also, you get to hear Tom Belissimo tell a story about me getting knocked on my ass by an explosion that I stood way too close to, even though he warned me not to. So,
not right.
There you go.
So for those people who want to hate the movie, you can hear a story about me getting knocked on my ass.
So
there you go.
So should we make shirts for RabbitHole that are just burned from like here down, and says Tom Bellissimo said it was safe to stand here?
Absolutely. Oh, I would kill for that shirt. That's a great shirt idea. That's a great shirt idea. And Tom Bellissimo would love
that. He would. You know that. I know that. Tommy
I'll get the boys on it.
Yeah, get him on that.
Well, Adam, thank you for coming on the old rabbit hole again.
Dude,
good
anytime.
Seeing you, man. Good seeing you.
You know it. Yeah, the best, guys.
So, guys, stay tuned. Mick and I are wrapping up the pilot episode of our cartoon series, so stay tuned on the next couple of weeks for some stuff on that.
Yeah.
And make sure to go to Scarefest in Kentucky later this year and see Mick and I in person.
There you go.
Wear your masks.
Think of how weird that's going to be.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks,
well,
Adam. Adam, really appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, brother, please, my absolute pleasure. You guys are freaking badass. I'm happy to be here anytime. You know that.
Okay, guys.
Well, see you guys next week. I think, are we having Graham Humphreys on?
We'll work on that.
One of the Grahams. Okay,
One
guys.
of the Grahams. Yeah. You know what? I think that you might be confused. It might be Instagram.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense. Well, see you guys next week. This is your host with the motherfucking most, TJ Bowser, signing.